Welcome back to the Healing with Horse Collective. I'm Dr. Jen and we're sharing wisdom horse messages. And I'm hanging out with Legacy, one of my boyfriends. Right, Mr. Legacy? And after I spoke with Saren about self-trust, I took her for a little ride. And she was showing to me an exercise that we can use to boost the energy of trusting ourselves. So I thought I would give it a try here with you today. We can see what we all think. All right, so this is just a simple exercise of inviting the energy of trust to flow through your system. So let's see how the horses want to help us with that today. So you just stand comfortably. You can do this with a horse by your side, like I'm lucky enough today, or a horse in your imagination if you don't have one with you. And just go ahead and take a big, deep breath. And invite that breath to settle down through your body into your feet. And sort of plug in, feel like you're plugging into the earth. And when I did that, Legacy, you probably saw him, he took a big breath and he's licking and chewing. So he could feel that difference. And then we're just going to ask our bodies what the energy of trust looks or feels like today. So I'm going to go ahead and close my eyes and just ask that question. What does the energy of trust feel like or look like today? And you might notice that when I did that, Legacy immediately put his nose on my solar plexus and engaged with me there. And as he was doing that, I was getting the sense that for me today, the energy of trust looks like an orange and pink fuchsia ball. I've actually painted a room in my house this orange and pink because it makes me so happy. So it must be a color of trust for me. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through and invite that energy into our different energy centers, our chakras, and see what we notice. Come here, Jen. You want to help? All right, I get the feeling that we can start at the top of our head, so we're going to start at our crown. And we're just going to go ahead and imagine that whatever the energy is, go ahead and do this with me. Whatever your energy of trust looks or feels like today, let's go ahead and enter, ask it to enter here, flood this space, and see what you notice. So I'll be quiet here for a minute as I notice that. And, Legacy might be indicating that he'd like it if we got down to my heart space and put the trust in there. We're going to get there. Let's see what happens with the crown first. When I do that, what I get is a sense of it opening up, my crown opening up to reconnect with my highest self, best self, mythic self, whatever your favorite word is, reconnecting to the trust of that self that is always available to guide me. Yeah? What do you think of that? He still thinks my heart needs a little bit of it, huh? He's looking and chewing on that. In fact, he probably just took a piece of energy that was not trust from my heart with that biting motion, and he was looking and chewing and releasing that. So let's go ahead and move down to your third eye, and let's invite the energy of trust, whatever it is for you, to flow down from your crown into your third eye and see what you notice. All right. And what I noticed there happened really fast. The energy flowed down from my head into my third eye and shot out my third eye, creating a path forward, right? So when I'm trusting myself, I can sense that energy moving me forward if I listen to it. Jim, are you helping out with the camera? Yeah? All right. So, are we ready for the heart? I guess we better be. So let's invite the energy of trusting yourself, whatever it looks like to you, into your heart space. So flow it down from the third eye into the heart and see what you notice. I notice it's really hard to notice anything with a horse nibbling on my chest. And I notice, but what that makes me feel is just a hair unsafe. So that's interesting, right? So where am I not trusting myself so that I feel unsafe? And he's really working on some energy here. But he's also got the zipper, so he's also kind of playing. There's a little bit of both here, but he's looking and chewing a bit. So let's move that zipper out of the way. He thinks that's great fun. And we're just going to ask that energy of feeling unsafe to dissolve, be dissolved, whatever part of it is ready to be dissolved in the light of self-trust. So let's see what happens then. And what happens is just a sense of expansion, that my energy field relaxed and expanded. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did move the zipper down, but Legacy also moved down to the more like the base chakra, which is about survival, right? And if we're not feeling safe, we're not feeling secure in our base chakra too. So those two things are probably related. And isn't it interesting how much information we're getting by just playing with this for a few minutes with a horse? So, very nice. Let's move down into our solar plexus and invite that energy of trust to float from the heart into the solar plexus and see what we notice. Go ahead and do it with me. Hey, Miss Jem. And the first thing I noticed was some resistance to allowing the energy to fill in that spot. And Legacy was just licking and chewing on that when I had that realization. So we'll say, okay, that's all right. We'll just invite it and see if it wants to shift. So we'll breathe again into that spot and just see if the energy is allowed to flow through there. And you can take a big deep breath if you notice any resistance. No, thank you. Happened as I did that was it finally did burst into like a sunlight energy from here, and when that happened I immediately felt more connected to the ground, right? So probably what was happening was the energy was being stopped here in my power center, and I was not able to fully connect all the way down to the ground, right? So if you're not fully grounded, you can be blocked in all sorts of ways from manifesting what actions you want to take in the world. So beautiful. We just created an ability to allow that energy to flow through me more fully, grounding me into my presence on this planet, where when I trust myself, magic can happen. We can also play, apparently. Today seems to be about playing with the Legacy. Mwah. All right, so we're going to ask it now to go into the sacral chakra, our energy of creativity, fertility, sexuality. And we'll invite the energy of trust to flow down from the power center into the sacral center. Let's see what we notice. And you can put your hand there if it helps you. First thing I noticed was that it felt small. That area felt small compared to the rest. And so I invited it to find the size that it wanted to be, and it immediately grew bigger. And we also noticed that Jem came in closer to support that process on her own. Beautiful. All right, we've got one last one. The first chakra, the root chakra, the one, as I mentioned, for safety and survival. All right, let's see what happens when we invite the energy of self-trust to flow all the way down into our root, the base of our spine. Our legacy here just took a big deep breath with me, and let's see what else wants to happen. He's continuing to be he's continuing to play with me in such a way that I don't feel 100% safe, and so let's take that as the message, right? We've already seen that there were several places I didn't quite feel safe today, that I'm not trusting myself or others or the world maybe. So let's invite that energy of trust, now that we've noticed that, into that space again. And I feel drawn actually to stand a little bit more in front of Jem now, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. She seems to be holding the space for us nicely. I'm going to take his rope off just for safety's sake. I'm just going to invite that energy one more time of trusting to flow down all the way through into the base chakra. And a sense that I get is that once it's firmly implanted here, that was really interesting, right? I started speaking some truth, and Jem came right up to my throat and offered some support around that area as well. So also a suggestion that being in your trusting yourself leads to finding and expressing your truth. And the truth that I was accessing in that moment was that as soon as we anchor, for me, the trust down here in the root chakra, that it can freely flow up and down the system, right? Connect up, trust all the way up, trust all the way down, trust all the way up, trust all the way down. And we can consciously ask that energy to be flowing up and down throughout our system, so it's moving at all times, any blocks or any issues that come up in any of these centers, to allowing the flow of trust to carry us forward in life. So, I hope you'll play with this exercise for yourself to see where you are, where you can invite more self-trust into your centers, into your body, into your life, so that you can freely flow forward. And I'd love to hear what you discover. So drop by and leave some comments. Thank you, Jem. Thank you, Legacy, for helping me feel that way today. Access that issue. I love you both. And until next time, may the heart of horse be with you.